All right, hello everyone. This is the 6 little secrets to unlimited lead generation success. This is based on a report I wrote back in the early 2000s that me and Lou wrote, and I updated it a little bit and wanted to share some of the techniques you can use to really bolster your lead generation efforts, how to get in front of more people, and really, the basic steps to building your practice. Because there's a lot of key fundamentals that a lot of us skip over when we first get started. And this is kind of the guide to fill in those gaps. Because we know about creating USPs and taglines, how important are they, and so forth. So this guy kind of goes over a little bit of information. All right. For those who don't know me, I'm Coach Jeremy Nason. I've been in this business almost 28 years. I started when I was 17. I'm now 45. So I've been doing this for a really long time, majority of my adult life. And, our goal at the Pro Shop is really to bring about a positive change in this industry. It's about us teaching you guys how to really serve your clients and become the trusted advisor in your area. So when people have a problem, they know who to turn to every single time. All right. And that's what we're going to talk about a lot today. All right. So secret number one, is making your agency, and agency is a loose term. We use it a lot in here. We come from an agency background where we were a large IMO. There were 2,000 plus agents at one point, to a point where now I don't even run that business anymore. I let that whole thing go. But so you'll see a lot of agencies in the text, but agency is practice, it's individual practice, it's all those different things. So how do you make your agency, your practice, stand out from the rest of the crowd? Right. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is being unique, but be original at the same time. Be you. Don't try to fake an appearance. Like, I know I've heard 1,000 times, fake it till you make it. And that is the biggest load of crap I've ever been told. Because you're being fake, and how often do we see, or we say we see through fake people in our own personal lives? Do we want to do that same thing? I'm a big dude. I am 6 foot, 300 pounds. I drive a big white GMC Sierra pickup truck. I'm redneck as hell. And that's me. And that's a lot of my clients too. So I want to be me. I don't, even when I go to my clients' homes now, I don't wear a suit and tie. The only time I wear a suit and tie is when you guys come in for a boot camp or I go to a funeral. And that's about it. Okay. Be yourself. So don't try to be something you're not. Play to your strengths. Be you. Okay. Don't try to let someone else influence you into saying you need to be something else. There's a lot of guys out there, fake it till you make it, go buy that Mercedes you need to have, or that expensive car, the 5-piece suits, it's crap. You're wasting your money for nothing. Now, if you're, again, that in most, I don't like saying always and never, but in most cases, you're wasting your money. Now, if you're out there dealing with business owners, corporate, 500 companies, top CEOs, yeah, you want to wear a freaking suit, but that's, use common sense. Realistically, this is not rocket science. One of the agents I taught, you heard the story of Phil Calandra for years. We talked about him, one of my great success stories before he went crazy. And, I remember going on a sales call with him back in probably the mid 2000s, 2003, 2004, 4 or 5, somewhere in that range. And he's one of those guys that wears a suit, but he wears a bow tie and stuff. And he tries to portray this image that he's ultra successful, which he was getting there, but he wasn't. He was kind of faking a little bit. But he told me, we're seeing this couple in Ackworth. All right, wear a suit and tie, but follow my lead when we get to the house. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of sketchy, but whatever. I'll follow your lead, Phil. This is your client. I'll do what you done. You know, he didn't have a health license, so I had to write the disability for him on this case. So we get out to the house. You know, we meet the couple, shake hands. I think she hugged me, she hugged him, and we go down, sit down in the living room. And immediately from the time he walks in the door, the bow tie comes off, the jacket comes off, the shoes come off, he unbuttons top, jackets off, and he comes down to their level, even from the suit, to be himself. You know, so yeah, you kind of walking in the door faking it, but he got down to their level and made it that was being himself from there on. All right. So be you guys. All right. Tell people what you do, what you have to offer, and what makes you different from the competition. And I say it says tell, but you want to inform. You know, we're not here to tell them, hey, I sell life insurance. That's not not what you want to say. But what problems you help people solve? You know, I help families eliminate debt and pay off their homes 5 to 15 years early. I help people, you know, to live debt free and truly wealthy. You know, I help people find the money so they don't have any money out of pocket. Right. I don't sell final expense. I help people plan for and plan for their demise to leave a loving gift behind. You're selling final expense, same thing, just different words. So use the problem you're helping them solve. Mortgage protection is just helping people pay off their largest asset in the event of a premature death. That's the problem you're helping people solve. You're not selling mortgage protection. You're not selling life insurance. That all makes sense, guys. We're not selling product. All right. Okay. So before I go to that one, you know, what makes you different than your competition? I want some answers from you guys on this one. What makes you different from your competition? Put your mic down, Joe.
I have living benefits.
Having living benefits. I mean, everybody has living benefits, though.
Some call cash value living benefits.
Yep.
Remember, I changed my name. I talked to you about this, Jeremy, and I call myself now the Happy Retirement. I mean, what? Happy Retirement Planner.
Yep, absolutely. So you by using a different, you know, a different spin on a traditional topic. You know, we all sell life insurance. We all have access to the same products. We're all independent agents for the majority of us, right? So what makes us different is the services we provide. A lot of times, you know, a lot of guys out there are just doing what? Just selling product. They're just selling it as a commodity. What makes us different is we're actually putting the pieces in place to help them plan, to help them solve a problem rather than just sell the product. And that's how we differentiate ourselves from everybody else. Make sense? All right. Make your agency name original. Now, I have to give this one to Joe. You know, we made this change a couple weeks ago to Happy Retirement Planner, and I could not be happier about it. Because
Me too.
It makes you stand out from the group. You know, and I have guys I've helped create different marketing, different names for. One of my favorite ones that kind of just hit me, I had a former law enforcement officer I was working with who's now in the Oklahoma House of Representatives. He's gone full circle with everything he did, but he still uses it, you know. So his market was mostly law enforcement agents. So we named his company Chris Sneed Insurance. Okay, so if you abbreviate that, what does that say? What does that spell? CSI. So do law enforcement officers recognize CSI? So it was an easy market, easy name that captured what they try to do. And that's probably one of my favorites that I've ever created. And it just came to me. We were sitting there just brainstorming, and I had my wife had CSI on TV in the background. And that just came together. Wonderful thing when it writes itself is easy. You know, but make sure you have an original name. original, something that's different than everybody else. There's a lot of people out there using their, Branding Green Financial Services, for example. And I'll pick on Brand. We're changing his company name right now. But my dad used Nason and Associates for years, and it's horrible. That's why I use Found Money Consultants. It's a brand of Nason and Associates, but it's different than everybody else uses. And it asks people the question, what are Found Money Consultants? Who is the Happy Retirement Planner? Like Brandon has Third Rail Financial. That's his new company name. And once he explained it to me, it made sense. But it's gonna be people to ask, what the hell's a third rail? If you don't grow up in a city, with subways or trolleys, you don't know what third rail is. And there's also an alternative definition of it also that he explained to me. But it's unique and different.
What if you already made that name up and it's too late? I kind of came up with mine before. It's nothing like that, but I mean, I have but it's called Financial Trust Group. It's back as building a brighter future together with a
that's fine.
It's nothing like that. I like the Happy Retirement thing, but that's
Financial Trust Group is fine because it's gonna, what are you doing? Selling trust? No. What I help people do is it creates the question.
Right.
That's fine. Trust me, me and you talked about that before. If I thought it was stupid or it wouldn't work, I would have told you not to use it.
Okay. Well, that's true. You would. I can't argue about that.
Yeah.
You're right. You would.
So make something that's original. If you already have something in place it's already getting traction for you, don't change it. Because some of you guys are already established. Don't mess with something that ain't broken. I've had guys go out and change, like brand that I'm a little bit worried about, because he is already well established as BG Financial Services. To change the name is kind of at this point in the game, but I think for the new branding we're going to do, we're going to slowly roll it out and make that change over gradual time. We're not trying to push it, so we're going to do it different ways, still different style to it. But just make sure you have something original. But at the end of the day, not the traditional Joe Moore Financial Services, Eddie Taylor Insurance, that kind of stuff. That's not going to fly really well. I mean, even the one I'm working on right now for one of my other clients is secure insurance plans. It's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's something she's very passionate about. So we're going to stick with it. So, Platinum Tax and Finance is the one I'm working on right now. That stands out. Okay. So be original in what you're doing and create your tagline. What is it you're helping people do? All right. Now I'm going to pull my website over here for a minute just to show you, company name, tagline. Okay. And if you need help creating a tagline, I think on the resource center, there's two guides I wrote to creating USPs and taglines on the resource center. If you can't find them, just shoot me an email. I'll shoot them over to you. But a tagline is just a synopsis of what problem you're helping people fix and who you're trying to help solve. So I help families in Paulding County to get out of debt and plan for a brighter future. Okay.
Building wealth, creating legacies.
Yep. So there's lots of different examples you can use. And again, it's the basic rule of thumb that I use is, who do you want to help? Where do you want to help them? And what are two problems you want to solve? And that's the easiest formula I've come up with in 27 years. Okay. So so if you're helping, you want to work with nurses in nurses and firemen in Jacksonville, Florida, I helping first responders, to help get out of debt and save money for a brighter future, whatever. Make sense? All right.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
That's one that took me a while. I changed my like under your news heading. Remember, I changed mine as well, and because originally mine was helping people not run out of money or something like that. And I think people didn't over here. I mean, they're concerned, but that's not the main concern. So we changed it to helping families in Hawaii safeguard their retirement from inflation, taxes, and medical costs.
Which we still need to update the site because this is the one I
Yeah.
wrote for you.
Yeah.
Based on the annuity, we were trying to do the annuity market at the time, so I kind of kept it simple. But yeah, I mean, what we're going to change out is going to be much better, anyways. And we have some of it here, you know, so we can tie this all in a little bit better for you. But
Okay.
so we're
Thanks.
going to after this class. Me and you're going to work on that. So
Okay, thank you.
but on everything you send out, every letter, every book, every report, every email, every text, your name and tagline should be on it. Okay. Keep the message in front of the people. I can't emphasize that enough. Keep the message in front of the people. If you do not do it, and that's why we use newsletters a lot of time for the same purpose, you'll miss out on sales constantly. I've had, when I stopped my newsletter because of COVID, now I'm reaching out to my clients, my friends and family again, going through my COIs, all this stuff. And I'm finding a lot of them bought insurance during COVID without me because I stopped emailing them. All term shit I'm going to replace, but it's a hassle. You know, so make sure you keep your name and tagline out in front of people.
I feel like I want to change mine
And
now.
again, it's something we, you know, you're newly established. We can change it over time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. Secret 2, and this is creating your unique selling proposition. Okay. Your USP is really important. You know, it's a single compelling idea of what makes people want to do business with you. All right. So I'm going to pull up, these are some that I wrote. Again, sometimes I'm a good marker, sometimes I'm crap when I'm writing. But it's a single statement that tells them, you know, how you're going to help them, basically. And it's a very powerful statement that gets people interest, piques their interest, piques their curiosity, and asks, how do you do that? All right. So these are some of the sample ones, some of the ones that, you know, some of my agents have used in the past, some that I've written. And again, it's in that guide that I'm going to, if you email me, I'll send to you, you know, it kind of goes through all the, you know, the creation, the rules and so forth. But again, you know, like when you need guaranteeing for life, that you know what you're expecting when you walk into this person's office. You know, we make solving financial problems easy and affordable. Now, again, this is not a great one, but again, it tells the story of what you're going to help them do. You know, so you combine this with your tagline, you have a very powerful statement you can make to your prospects and clients. Make sense?
Yeah, the one thing is, Jeremy, like I like to get something in case like my business grows that has something for everything, like something like one, like, you know, I guess if you're going to know that you're just doing retirement, the happy, what you said, retirement, that's what you're doing. But if you say, if you want to do retirement, then you want to do this and do that, it'd be nice to come up with something universal so it covers everything. Would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, that's why, you know, the financial trust group covers all that. You know, so we didn't because I know we're starting, like for you, we're starting in mortgage insurance. So
right.
we don't want to have a mortgage insurance
Right.
name,
right?
Because we don't see you doing it long term.
Helping you pay off your mortgage 5 to 10 years early.
Yeah, I mean, so having a USP, a tagline for that is probably not going to grow very well. Now, I have a gentleman out in California that's been doing mortgage protection only for almost 50 years. So his whole business is wrapped around that.
Wow.
He writes 5 policies a week. He makes $300,000-$400,000 a year in Bakersfield, California, and he loves it. And some guys find it when you find the market you want to work, that you stay there and you can start building around it. You know, we know you're gonna, you know, like most, you're gonna evolve over time. We start with young families or middle income families now. We get into the, found money retirement area. And as our clients grow, we're growing with them, right? So the logical process is, hey, we're going to get into annuities, income planning, and down the rest of that path. Just automatically with our business, the way it grows. So if we focus on people that, that's why I tell a lot of the guys who are younger in the business, focus on people your own age. 10 years plus, 10 years below. You'll never have financial problems. Because if you focus on that group as you grow, your skill set's going to grow, you're going to grow with them. And in 20, 30, 20 years in this business, 25 years in this business, now you've gone from selling cheap term crap to selling millions of annuities automatically from your current client base. So you don't have to stretch. You don't have to market anymore. Does that make sense?
Sure does. Yes.
All right. Sorry, I got to move my camera around here. It's driving me batty right now. I can't see my slides. All right. So you want to invest whatever time and time's necessary to create your USP. Okay. Really take some time and think about how you want to phrase it, how you want to structure it. It's a worthwhile investment. Don't rush through it. All right. Be able to answer this question. What do I benefit from doing business with you? That's what we want to help them get to. What's in it for me? Why should I work with you? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Right. And you can probably tell the PowerPoint's a little different this week. I didn't design any of this PowerPoint. I gave this to, as you guys know, I hired my daughter full time. And I told her, I said, I gave her the guide and said, make me a PowerPoint. And I wanted to check to see where her creative strengths and stuff are. And I don't know what you guys think, but I think she did a great job on the PowerPoint.
She knocked it out of the ballpark. I'd like her to use it for mine, please.
Yeah, I mean it's simple.
It's really good.
The only problem I'm having is reading the quotes on the bottom. They're a little bit dark, but other than that, you're probably going to see a lot more funky PowerPoints coming out. So,
I think it looks great.
Besides my stale black and white,
it's more professional.
I think it looks better than Dad's.
Absolutely, mine is crap.
No, well,
I mean, I use the same template for what, 5 years now. I mean,
but she can freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I hired her for all this. This everything. I mean, when you guys know, as one man shops, how much can you get done, right? So again, having the assistant, and that's what I hired her for. Rather than hiring another coach, because it's hard to replace a Lou or an Alex, easily, right? It takes years to build them up. So I hired her as my assistant to take off some of the pressure so I can focus more on helping you guys. And it's been a godsend so far. So, all right. So the next topic, and I love this picture, I'm special. Just so many quotes you can put with that. You want to separate yourself from everybody else by specializing. And this goes back to the mortgage insurance, Dave, right? So associate yourself with a specific idea or concept or problem you can help people solve, right? It's an immediate problem they want to fix, and make it that way. So when you're out there and they know you as X, my clients know me as the found money guy. And that's what I want them to know. I want them to know I can help them find the money to solve a specific problem. All right. So that's what we want to have, you guys do. Joe, we know you're focusing on being the happy retirement planner, which is your focus on income planning. It's on structuring guaranteed income they can't outlive. Dave, we're focusing on mortgage protection. We're showing you how to pay off people's homes 5 to 15 years early. Now, in both situations, we can do everything else. We're not locked into just one area.
Right.
So as we're talking to our friends and family, if we know they have a specific need, we can talk about said specific need. But our expertise,
transition like that, like if I'm starting off with this, doing that, and I become that, specializing myself in the things that I say or what I do and I kind of brand myself as that, how will that pick up where others are saying, well, oh, he would do that. I see he does that, but he just does that for mortgage. I really need retirement or something. I need to see somebody else. Is that
Well, I mean, when you start building your, your other materials, right? You start building your website, your online presence, you have these other topics on there.
okay?
We're just focusing the marketing on this area. But
Okay.
the other tools we have are focused, lead to other areas too.
Gotcha.
For example, let me pull my website back up again here.
I know who I'm having doing my website.
If I have more time.
Don't you start. She's
No,
got
I got
not
4
you,
or 5
not
I'm
your
working.
daughter.
Well, me and her are both working on. I'm training her how to use a new software that I use.
Oh, okay.
So we're working on it, and I have 5 I'm working on right now, and it is. I said I could do 10 at a time. 5 is the right number.
That's okay. I've got a lot of work to do before we get.
No, but I mean November, December, we should have time by then to work on it, and that's probably the right timing, anyways. But again, so when you start going into, listing other things you work on, so I have 2 big topics on the front, right on top of my screen: stressful money issues, afraid of living your retirement income, right? Because now, as I work with mostly middle income families, 35 to 55 families with kids that own homes. That's my primary market, but I don't want to miss out on the annuity sales, right? So if they go to my website, if they got a flyer from me, if they found my book somewhere, a newsletter or a Facebook ad, whatever, they go to the website and they say, okay, well, I'm social money, but this is more important, for the seniors. Now they can go to that page and see, what I can do to help them. Make sense? So I'm not limiting myself.
Yeah, I see now. Okay.
Okay. And that's, again, as we go through it, if you look at Tony's site, you look at Brandon's site's up, you'll see it on there. So you'll see a lot of different options. I'm not saying list a menu of services,
right?
Because I have guys who want to list, well, I do life insurance, Medicare, long-term care, blah 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 blah. That does not help anybody. That's product based. If you want to write a menu of services, write a problem based menu. Okay, so if we talked about earlier, like, and Ed gave me a great thing for filing expense: leave a memory, not a bill.
I like that.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
So putting that, leave a memory, not a bill, and talk about why final expense insurance, or why leaving a policy in place is good. That's awesome, because you focus on the problem first. Don't just put final expense. Right? Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So differentiation is the magic word. Find distinctions that make a difference to your customers, and the stress and stress these in everything you do. So again, back to marketing, back to your signature on your emails, every header, every piece of stationery you use should have your tagline, your USP, that should lead you to a specific market you're trying to work in. All right. This is probably the biggest, most important step where most agents, and I'm going to say a bad word today, fuck it up. All right. And I try not to curse in these videos. That's not, I have a seller's mouth, as Dave knows. We talk all the time. But again, we make it so people think they need to have it. And we try to focus so much on the product that we lose why we're trying to sell it, what we're trying to help them accomplish. We've commoditized it. That's why you look at and I hate to pick on different companies, but the FFL, NAA, Symmetry, Equus, WFGs, all the Prime America, they're all just selling a product.
And I made this point to Jeremy, maybe make to these guys too. It was like kind of coming in, this guy, I thought I was going to get with New York Life, but that's where I started getting the business. But this guy has been in the business since he was 22. He's now 75. And I was talking to him about something, and you know, about what Jeremy is saying. So what product did you use? How did you use that? I mean, he's 75 years old. He's been in this business. He's talking about product yet. And I mean, he's successful. Of course, I'm sure I know he's been in it for a long time, but since that time, he's been talking about product. And I'm like, it's not about that. It's a tool, but it's not, it just amazes me. I just thought I'd share it. It's crazy.
No, it is crazy. I mean, and it's not uncommon. You know, if I talk to 10 FFL agents, I hear 9 times about product and 1 is about anything else.
That's a wake up call. Yeah.
You know, so folk, do not make it a commodity. Do not sell the price, do not sell the product. Focus on the problem. All right. The critical element in the sales process is what we know about the customer, how well we understand them, and how committed we are to giving them the experience that satisfy their needs. What that means is the more we understand about the prospect, the better we can help them. Right. And we want to make sure about, you know, there's tons of books I've read on customer service. And, you know, Joe, you come from retail backgrounds, your services I know is going to be top notch with your clients, you know, because you've been trained on the different service styles out there, you know. But I read a book years ago, and I don't have a copy at my desk right now, called Raving Fans. And if you have not read it, I highly recommend looking it up, looking the audio up. Most of you probably have it already. But, you know, make sure you under promise and over deliver on all things you do. You know, make sure you give them a great experience so they know that they feel good when you leave. So if you have asked to come back, you can get in the door easily. It's only going to lend well for more referrals and more repeat sales. All right. But we have to understand the prospect. And that's by doing what? And I'm going to pick on Eddie. What do we have to do to get it to understand the prospect? Go ahead, say that again.
So what's the question again?
So what do we have to do to get to understand the prospect? What process we put them in or go through with them? Why not ask the question clearly?
No.
Okay. So I'm sorry. It's one of those days. So for us to understand the prospect, we have to get to know them on an intimate level, right? And how do we do that?
By asking questions.
Yeah, by asking questions and doing a fact find, right?
Right.
That's where most agents don't go. They do what we call an abbreviated fact find or just the hard fact find just to make the sale. And they wonder why they can't get back in 2 weeks later to deliver the policy.
I was wondering, what do they use if they don't use a fact find? I mean, how do they go in? So they just use just a more shorter, not a detailed.
Yeah, they think that they. I've talked to so many agents, and again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody because everybody has their own style. But I had an agent contact me through email after I wrote a newsletter that said he told me that everybody knows how to do a fact find. We're all taught how to do a fact find the right way from the start of the business, and I had to laugh. Because if that was the case, I'd have no business. Because no one's teaching how to do good fact find. People think doing a fact find is taking the form the company gives us and just filling it out. And that gives them what? Just the hard facts. That's just the factual information about their situation. It gives us none of the emotional problems they're facing. And where is the sale made? In the emotion. People buy based on emotion and then justify the decision based on logic. So if they're only capturing the factual data, the only thing they're going in with is the logic. And they're missing a huge step. That's why most agents are closing less than 50% of their cases. Just right there.
That's a shame, because if they don't know any better and the company's doing it, where else do they find that information unless they come across somebody like yourself that's. So
well, the problem is they think they already know it. That's the hardest part. How do I convince you that you don't ask questions? I can't tell you, right? So I tell you, you reject it.
Yeah.
So I have to go through a process. If they do call me, and this guy, I talked to him, and we talked for about an hour and a half, and I just asked him questions for the first 45 minutes. And his answer was, "Oh shit, I don't know how to ask questions." So, it takes a different level. I mean, it's not, and again, it's we don't know what we don't know in this business, and that's why we try to get the message out, of doing the proper fact find, because it is imperative to our business. That's why the guys I work with closed 97% of the cases. We don't miss. Now, Dave, for your first case, I don't, I don't know what happened there. You presented it well. It was beautiful, and it still may go through. We'll see.
Yeah, I
But
don't either. I'm up at night thinking about that. So
I know.
It's very well put together and everything.
And it was complete, it hit all the emotion, all the logic of everything they wanted. So, some people, and again, out of 100 cases, there's always one that we're not gonna be able to close no matter what we do.
I just think with him, he's just a different breed, and I
Yeah.
think that he wants to know I'm going to do my research. It's just
Mhm.
like somebody buying a car. Well, I like this, but I want to look about. I want to see what this annuity is, or what this is, or what
Yeah,
this.
and we know what the issue is with him because he's in the Dave Ramsey circle. So that causes its own set of problems we have to combat. So, but so it's all making sense so far.
Yes.
Any questions? All right. Move the camera again. Come on, get out of the way. There we go. All right. So secret 4 is focus on lead generation marketing. Okay, this is probably one of the more critical steps. This is the one where most agents try to focus 90% of their business on, and which is where we make our money. We have to find prospects to be able to sell, right? So we want to put down the path, right? We have a certain way we start everybody out. The friends and family COI market, heartfelt letters, help script, doing some of the basic stuff to help make you a few initial sales to get the ball rolling. Okay. Then as you start making money, now you can start investing in your business, working in and on your business from there. All right. To eventually want to find a way to make the prospects come to you with minimal effort. Now, I'm not saying you have people beating down your door to buy what you're offering, but if you prospect the right way and put things in place where they're putting themselves in your sales funnel in the right position, you're doing it with minimal effort. You're still going to have to make phone calls. You still have to talk to them, create conversations. All those things are going to happen no matter what. Those have to happen. Okay. But we want to find a way to fill the funnel, get them into your sales process with minimal effort. We don't want to be beating down people. We don't want to be knocking on doors, hanging flyers on cars, going, door knocking, port sitting, whatever you want to call it. We don't want to be doing any of that stuff. That's a waste of time. Cold calling is a giant waste of time. It can be a giant waste of time in most cases. All right. But putting things in place, like freemium marketing, adding booklets, doing, minimal Facebook ads, pushing people to your website, getting them to want more information on a white paper. These are all stuff we're trying to push them into a funnel. So we're capturing information so we can continue to drip on them, whether it's email, videos, whatever we want to do from there. That makes sense? All right. You want to target an audience that logically fits within your demographics of what you specialize in. Okay. So if you specialize in mortgage protection insurance, you want people that have mortgages. You want probably, I would say you want to start younger, because when does that person buy their house? Between 25 and 35. Right. So I don't deal with 25-year-olds, their headaches, but so I deal, the lowest I go is 30. So 30 to 45, 30 to 50, family with kids who own homes is my target market for this, because there's a lot of opportunity to protect them, and I can specialize in serving that market, helping them pay off the home early with no additional money out of pocket. Now, that's a door opener. When I get in the home, as I do my fact find to understand my prospect, I can uncover different problems, needs, and wants to help fulfill other goals they have. If I find something that's more pressing for them, that's what I want to solve first. As we do our fact find, we find problems that are more critical to the situation. If I go for mortgage protection and they have a ton of debt that they want to get rid of first, that's job number one then. Okay, if I go into a house with mortgage protection and they're more worried about retirement, when I talk about retirement with them during the fact find, then we're gonna focus on retirement. That makes sense? But folks in the market you work in. Joe, for you, it's 55 plus. That's your market. You want to be in the annuity market, in the long-term care market. That's where you specialize. Andy, you're doing most living benefits. So you want people probably from 40 to 60 in your target market. People that are married with kids, that need life insurance as happenstance, but also the living benefits to help them solve other problems down the path as they become unhealthy. Infinite banking is tax for retirement. There's all these different concepts and sales concepts you can use, but make sure you focus on your target audience and really dial that in. For me, my market is simple. I'm a former baseball coach, so I work on people that are 35 to 55, families with kids who play baseball that live in Paulding County. And that's my target market. So you can niche it down as detailed as you want. Just make sure you target your specific audience. Because if you're just using a shotgun approach, and when I first started in the business early on, I did term flyers. The company would print them up for me for free. So I was a mediocre producer. So it would print me 5,000 term flyers that I could mail out. Well, back mailing out them, I think there were 35 cents to mail out in bulk. So I would mail out 5,000 flyers and then work the leads that come in. And I just targeted everybody in this half of the county or this quarter of the county when I did it. So, a lot of it was waste. So when you're spreading your marketing over multiple areas, you're doing it too thin. Specialize in one market, really target down and focus on that. Put blinds on everything else and focus on that one market as your main source of bringing in the people in. That way you're definitely hitting the right target. So if you're doing Facebook ads, you want to target that market. I messed up. I had an ad I ran and I thought I had targeted in very well, and it ended up going to all the wrong people. Okay. I misclicked something and I got nothing but people wanting to kill me, and they threatened me with life. They put poop emojis on my post. It was bad. I spent $100 and some on a post that did nothing. All right. It happens, so, but make sure you really dial in your focus, who's going to fit your demographic. All right. Offer a free incentive. And again, this is not, hey, we offer a free consultation. No. And this is where I use freemium marketing a lot. And if you don't know what freemium marketing is, I did a whole video on it a while back. It's on the resource center. But freemium marketing is offering something free from us in exchange for information from the client. An opt-in form, a landing page, a newspaper ad offering a free report to a voicemail, however you want to structure it. You're going to capture information so you can follow up on at a later date. And this is probably one of the easiest lead gen systems to run, because you can have it done. It's done very passively, and you can do it everywhere now. Because the way the internet works, you can spread this thing out everywhere. I've done this where I've offered back. You guys know when you go to the bowling alley. Back in the day, they used to run the ads on the monitors across the bowling alley, and the pin sweep had phone numbers and names on them, all that stuff. Yeah, I was a big bowler, so I did a lot of that stuff. I got a lot of business from that. I used to do placemats at a local diner. I had an ad on a placemat, offering a free report. You can put these things everywhere. Hell, if you go to Walgreens now, back by the bathrooms, in almost every Walgreens you go to, there's like a community bulletin board where you can place business cards, flyers, whatever on them for free. A lot of restaurants will share information from the restaurant if you're a patron of the restaurant. Think about where you go if you're in your target audience, where could I place these advertisements to get them to want to take action?
I heard a guy, a car salesman guy, he bought a bunch of pizza boxes and he gave them to the guy who owned the best pizza place in town, hundreds of them.
Yep.
But it had all his information on the box,
That's freaking genius.
on the inside of the, whatever it was. So there was no reason why the restaurant guy wouldn't do it. They're free boxes.
Absolutely. If you think about all the stuff we touch on a daily basis, what can we do to help a business that will put our message out? And I call those joint ventures. And Brian, that's an amazing one. I've never heard that being done before. That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I have to call my restaurant here in town and see if I can do that now.
And the guy's name is Fran Taylor. He was a enormously successful car salesman in Pennsylvania, Toyota salesman. I took his class one time. He's got a million of those.
Yeah, I mean, those are great ideas. I mean, where else can you put the ad out? Because you don't need something to say selling life insurance. You're running an ad about a specific problem, paying your home off 5 to 10, 15 years early. Are you worried about running out of money long term when you retire? These kind of ads that will trigger them to, say, well, yeah, I'll get the free report. It's painless. Get something to read, something to learn. People do it.
Jeremy, have you or anybody else agents had any success of saying, maybe sitting, for a few hours outside of a Walmart and have a band or something, you pay your mortgage off until, 5 or something like that, or a fair or something, I don't know, or something like that where you can give away that type of, get people signed up or to call, get their information.
I mean, it's doable.
I just saw someone do it. It wasn't insurance, but they did something.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a gentleman in Florida. He was in his 70s, and his name was Stan the Insurance Man. Not the one you see on the internet today.
Oh, okay.
This guy stole it from this other guy that he was one of my top producers.
Wow.
And he only worked 2 days a week. And the only thing he did, he ran a booth at a flea market. And he had a Stan the Insurance Man banner. He would sign people up right at the flea market for life insurance. I mean, he wasn't selling huge policies, $25 to $200 per month, but he'd write 5 or 10 a weekend. And there's the old story about Ben Feldman. I think it was Ben Feldman did this. He sat in front of a grocery store and asked 100 people to buy life insurance. And if you ask 100 people to buy life insurance, one will say yes, statistically. Yeah. So, I mean, sitting in front of a Walmart, I mean, ask enough people, you'll get an answer of yes, but is it the most beneficial use of your time?
No, I wouldn't, me either. But I just thought the guy was doing something like I forget what it was, but it was just basically products. It was just, but I thought if it might be something more beneficial if you had a good marketing spin to it.
Yeah, if you had,
I'd like to know how to pay your mortgage off between 5 to, with
yeah, 5. I mean, if you're out there,
insurance.
Yeah, if you're out there talking about how to help people pay off their home and eliminate their debts, and then offering some free reports on both topics in exchange for their email and phone number and names. Yeah.
It's not something
it's very low impact and it's easy to do. I mean, it's very, the only cost is the booklets and the printing materials. So I mean,
I didn't know if anybody in your company or you did that or anything like that.
I used to walk around. We had a boat show in Florida, and I had a retirement survey that I had created years ago, me and Lou, just joking around about, will this actually work? And I bought it to the boat show as a vendor or as a advertiser, I guess. So I was able to walk around the boat show for free and talk to people. Now, who goes to these boat shows? I mean, these are the big 30-foot yachts, huge boat show in Florida. So it's nothing but millionaires, very well-off individuals. And I would just ask them, you might take a quick survey. And I collected probably in that 2 days, I worked about 4 hours a day, about 30 different filled out brochures from people, and half of them wanted to meet with me afterwards. So you can, there's thousands of ways to meet people. Some takes time, some's more organic, some's cost more money. But if you're driven to do this business, you have to be driven to prospect. You have to create the activity. Activity is the main focus of what our businesses need. We need at bats. If we have at bats, we'll make sales.
Yeah, Jeremy. When I first started, I was with New York Life, and I guess our my recruiter that got me in, this lady,
Mhm.
she just was promoted to I just found out promoted to the Hawaii head of the New York Life division in Hawaii. And one of the things, I mean, when I was there, she had the biggest group of people in there, mostly young people, but they had an excitement and they stuck it out, like, they did the business. And one of the things they did, which I really couldn't afford after I left, was they would set up, like, they always have these food and product shows, like at some kind of city convention thing, where it'll cost you like about $1,500 to open a booth for the weekend. And they they set up stuff when I was there. My recruiter person, she set up the booth there, and she just had us sign up and say, okay, this won't cost you anything. You just got to work the hours, and whatever names you get, that'll be your lead. So after I left New York Life, one of the things I did was I would go visit their booths anyway, because I knew them as friends.
Mhm.
And then I'd walk around the booth, and I actually talk to other people around, like the government, city and the state and police department, fire department. They all were trying to, I guess, recruit people and so forth. So I just ended up talking to I look for the shy ladies, and I would just start talking to them. And I practiced some of the stuff you guys kind of taught me, like, asked them, oh, by the way, what do you think of what do you think of these economic times come, whatever the thing was at that time, right?
Yeah.
So how's that, and all of that, and I actually picked up names, but I stopped doing that and I never followed through on that. But now that you're talking about this, it brings back my memories on that, where it didn't cost anything to go to the food and product show and just walk around, and just like you're an average Joe Schmuck walking around and seeing what's interesting for you, and talk to the booth people and say, hey, I like your stuff, man. I like this, that. Hey, by the way, what do you think? Queen Elizabeth died today, and she did.
Oh, did
Queen
she?
Elizabeth II died today, a
Okay.
96-year-old ruling monarch for what, 70 years, since 1952.
Yep.
I mean, that's what, but just that's what I'm thinking about doing this weekend anyway, was to go out to one of these community whatevers and just talk about the Queen, and then say, life is short. What happens,
Mhm.
is that a concern? Have you ever pictured yourself? What would happen, if you passed? Because like they're talking about on the radio about the Queen, right? About how now it's going to move over to the King Charles, whatever, from Elizabeth II to King Charles, whatever, and all the problems that's going to come up and so on. I was thinking, God, this is an interesting thing. Now that you mentioned this, it's kind of like putting a huge thought in my mind, like, wow, it talks about life and death and how the royal family is going to handle that.
Mhm.
How is your family going to handle that if you're gone?
I mean, you can use any current event.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I mean, when Betty White died, I used that. Everybody loved Betty White. I mean, it was easy. Same thing. I mean, with the whole, IRA, Inflation Reduction Act they put out. How's that going to affect you? What do you know about it? You can use all these different current events to your advantage and talk to people. You know, I, you know, I'm not a big believer of spending money on marketing. All right. As you guys probably have guessed, that I rather talk to people and create conversations than do anything else marketing wise. That's me.
And you do it well. I can tell that you actually grew up doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy. It just flows no matter what the topic is.
That's 27 years of being next to Lou's office and hearing him repetitively say these things that I mumble every day now. But again, it takes time. But again, the more you use it, you know, and just talk to people. I mean, I'm just me, right? And I just casually bring up these topics because one, I like to shock people. I like telling jokes, you know, and I like getting people to laugh, and then I can bring up some more serious topics and get them to really think about it. And again, it's a skill that I've taken on. I don't know how I don't know how I learned. But if I knew how to pass it on to you guys, 100%, I just bottle it and pass it on. But I try to do that every day, you know, with the message we write and so forth. But just, you know, if you talk to people, you'll get appointments. Because again, we're not looking, you know, the way that is business is being taught today. You know, you need 20 appointments a week, 15 appointments a week. It's unsustainable unless you're buying leads and spending a lot of money on that. Where if you just, I mean, how much does it cost to talk to somebody? Nothing.
Nothing.
It's free. You know, so if you go to the trade show, you sit at the flea market, you text message someone that you've met on Facebook or old friend you have, you know, on your phone. That's all we need. We only need 2 or 3 appointments a week. Because again, our average sale is going to range from anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 a case. So let's say we just wrote $2,000 once a week. How much is that per month?
8,000,
It's $8,000 a month. How much is that a year?
72,000.
$96,000
No,
a year
96. Oh.
without even breaking a sweat. You know, so if I have to talk to 10 people to get 2 appointments, which I don't, and you shouldn't either, because if you ask the right questions, you should be getting just about everybody you talk to. You know, and just have conversations. You're gonna make appointments. It's that's why I have a lady that I'm coaching that spends tons of money on leads, live transfers, filing expense, more section leads, and she's only making about 1 or 2 sales a week for $1,000. She's barely breaking even. And I keep telling her, just you have 1,000 people on Facebook. I know you have at least 200 numbers in your phone. Just ask them a few questions and watch how it works, because it just happens from there. If someone's not interested, move on to the next big fripping deal. Eventually, they're going to know what you do. They're going to get the point of what you do from the conversation. And when that problem arises, they're going to contact you. Because now you start sending newsletters, you start dripping on them through email, your post on Facebook, your content marketing you're doing. And you'll be able to create these conversations very easily without a lot of effort. So as far as point number 1 comes, find ways to make your prospects come to you with minimal effort. That's what I focus on.
Jeremy,
Yeah, go ahead.
question. Earlier you were saying, you know, you brought up this point about fake it till you make it kind of thing and how that's not good.
Yep.
I'm kind of practicing my lines. I finally decided to try something on my sister, and she told me, you know what, Joe, I know you real good. That's all bullshit you're telling from your mouth. I said, come on. I said, these are the lines I gotta memorize and say, you know? So I'm just kind of, Carol, just think of it as I'm faking it till I make it, okay? The more I say it, then eventually it'll turn into it, but I need to say it to somebody. And she's like, yeah, but I know you real good, and I know you're
It's like having a wife. Trust me, my wife sees all my bullshit now. It doesn't fly anymore. No matter what question I ask her, why are you asking that question? You know, and I try to, you know, when she's more arguing, which happens occasionally, I'll try asking a question, and that just
turns out more often.
Yeah, it's all over from there. You know, so again, some of the people that are closest to us are the hardest to make happy. And
But anyway, Jeremy, the point is, you know, like I remember hearing Lou saying this, okay, with the lines kind of thing that they give you, like how to do your fact finder, what questions to how to, you know, the questions, what, you know, certain questions that you want to ask them. You got to say these things and you have to learn it, and you kind of got to memorize it. Eventually it'll become your own, but until you get it down pat into your in where it's just a part of you, like me playing guitar and songs over the years where I've played it, where now, I don't even think about it and then that kind of stuff. So isn't that the fake it till you make it stuff that you want to be using? Because
No, because you're learning.
otherwise,
You're not
huh?
faking it. Do you believe in what you do?
Yes,
Do you believe you can help people doing what you do?
yes.
Then you're not freaking faking it.
Oh,
Simple as that. You're not. I mean, when I say fake to make it, it's the people that are out there, brand like. Okay, I'll use an example. I had a gentleman I worked with years ago. He was the same age as I was when we got in the business. We were both licensed about 19. He goes to Mass Mutual or MetLife, one of the two. I can't remember which one it was. And we stayed in contact. We were the same licensing course, the whole nine. And he had to go out and spend $7,000 or $8,000 per his boss's orders to make sure he looked the part, spoke the part, drove the part, everything else. That's faking it till you make it.
oh,
Okay. When you try, I was told by one of the guys we had in our office. I was driving a minivan at the time. I had a silver Dodge Caravan. I just bought it because I had 3 kids or 2 kids at the time. And the guy in the office is saying, "Why did you buy a minivan? You're not going to get any points driving a minivan." And I'm like, the car doesn't freaking matter, Adrian. That's absolute bullshit. Because he had a drive. He drove a Lexus or a BMW or something. His wife had to have the matching BMW, whatever. And it's like, you're just trying to fake a image that's not you. And people see through you being fake. It's like I had the kid I taught, Eric. Like, you guys know the seminar story I did with him. And again, he was trying to fake it. I mean, he's up there doing a seminar in his dad's suit that's 3 sizes too big, trying to impress the part when he doesn't believe he can do it. That's faking it. Does that make sense? But trying to learn something and apply something is not faking it. You're trying to do the job. You're learning the job. That's believing in what you do. It's a complete different story. Make sense?
yeah. I think I'm learning something here.
That's the idea of these classes. I mean, because again, I've always been the firm believer, if someone has a question about something, 10,000 people are asking about it. Right? So when you guys ask these questions on these cases, I get to go off these, what I call tangents or rabbit holes in some cases, usually at Joe's request. Love you, Joe. That.
Thank you.
But they're the things that other people would ask too if they were here. So Joe, I thank you for asking these questions. You asked some really good questions. Same with all you guys. All right. So
yeah, I wanted to add, Jeremy. I just had a client this morning text me, and she said she doesn't want to continue on any further meetings. I brought her with one of my financial coaches that kind of has a lot of unique strategies using life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And this gal's got quite a bit of real estate, a shitload of money in 401ks and funds, stocks, and doesn't even have a living trust. And she's worth probably a good, maybe over 6 mil. And a lot of things we can use for our strategies will definitely benefit her. But when she messaged me today as a follow-up and said that she doesn't want to continue further meetings after our first one, she was all on board, gave us back the financial questionnaire. We were trying to figure out an appointment, but the Labor Day weekend came, and I guess she may have met with somebody. So she said she met with a local CFP. So she said, because I'm gonna work with this local CFP, I don't think I'm gonna be needing your services, which is fine. Initially, I was like, the old me would be like, I would at least be bothered by it, but I realized, like at the end of the day, it's really just eliminating those clients that aren't going to be my clients, an ideal client. She has the money, she has definitely the need for what I can offer, but she's a tough person to work with. She's very hyper. It's the way she speaks and very just questions every little thing.
Yep.
Questions even like insurance agents getting paid the commissions,
Yeah,
I told her too. I said that, you do with real estate. I mean, I understand what you're talking about commissions, but are you okay with paying your real estate agent 3% commission one time or 1% every single time you own that, every year you own a home? And she was like, I'd rather pay the 3%.
Yeah.
So the 1% is your financial advisor. I told her so. She knows what I'm talking about. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
bury myself in the
You
hole.
probably dodged the bullet. You probably dodged the bullet.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's why I look at it. Those clients that we lose like that. Everything. I I have a very religious background, so everything happens for a reason. So
Yeah.
is what it is. I don't
And
stress
you know what?
about
It's
it.
funny because I'm the same way. I'm not somebody that's gonna be preaching to you, but I'll in my own way, I'll pray about it in the morning and see, guide me in the right direction, how to handle this. But you know what? Honestly, Jeremy, it's like she's one of those gals that's like very like just talks politics, very strong Republican, which is fine, but she goes off and just started to bash the state of Hawaii. She's from here, but the way things are, the Democratic state. So it just everything as we were going, I was like thinking of all the conversations. I was thinking, man, do I really want this person as my client? Because if anything goes wrong, she's gonna question everything about the policy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just sometimes it's best, like what Joe was saying. I mean, a lot of times you don't want to really fake it till you make it, because I'm not gonna fake it. I'm gonna just be real about it. And I've learned that part of it, of just faking it to make till you make it. But I think when people can be more authentic and real about it, people can appreciate that. But you do
Absolutely.
eliminate a lot of the time wasters in your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you gotta be real. I mean, you be real with people, people be real with you, and everybody it works itself out. But if you have people, and again, I've had clients that are very out there on both sides of the equation. The very liberals, the very very Republicans, and again, there's some crazy fuckers out there. So and I don't, again, I'm sorry for the language, but yeah, there's some extremes out there that I had one client, I had from my agent's clients that he was trying to work with, bought a lead, and far Republican, crazy, tinfoil hat club people, wanting to, rather than buy gold, buy silver, buy life insurance, they wanted to buy seeds. And that's all they wanted to put their money in, was seeds. The world was ending. This is when Obama was president. It was a nightmare. So there's some crazies out there, and there's some of them are fun to work with. Some of them are just absolutely terrible clients. So there's this, when you have a client like that, you dodge. I always think I dodged the bullet. I'll move on to the next. It's not worth dwelling over, because a lot of times when you offer someone great service up front, even if they found somebody else to work with temporarily, is typically just temporary. Because once they realize that he's just selling or something, which most CFPs will just try to sell our product, she'll be calling you back, whether it be a year from now or 5 years from now. I remember Tony had tons of clients that would, work with them. They love Tony. They start working with a CFP. 2-3 years later, they come back with everything is a freaking mess. We had all their plans sewn up for them for income, for retirement guarantees. They replaced all their annuities to do AUM, and completely screwed the client. So, they have a way of finding it back. Even my agents, when I was an IMO, I have an agent. Well, I can get a bigger commission over here. Great. Here's the release form. Go have at it. 6 months later, they're coming back saying, "Okay, can I have my contract back? This guy's a jerk. I can't deal with him. He doesn't help me. Now I know what I'm paying you for." That kind of stuff. So it always comes back to you. All right.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I'm not gonna dwell on it. I think about the same thing. Like she may come back. I know CFPs, certain things they can do. They're certified financial planners, so I'm sure they can't say certain things. But
I mean,
I don't know if you know much about that.
They can do everything we can do and more because they have the securities licenses.
Yeah.
Right. But majority of what they focus on is just the securities. They call themselves certified financial planners when they should be just called certified investment planners. And that's not all, always and never. We talk about that, but the ones I've spoken with in the past 10-15 years have all been certified investment planners. That's what I've been starting to call them, because they're not doing the full job.
They're not doing the full job.
The full job, and again, I have it written right on my website. Is financial plan is helping people to spend, save, invest, and plan accordingly to reach financial independence. That is the definition of financial plan that Lauren Dutton set in the 70s before the CFP was established. Okay.
Yeah.
Not what they adhere to today. Not
Hey, Jeremy and Daryl,
Hmm?
uh, I had something like that, kind of similar like that happen, and uh, so anyway, I dumped her, and like I said, we had a plan all set, everything. We found the money and so forth, and she ended up buying two brand new cars instead. I think I talked to you about this before.
Mhm.
And so everybody, this is when I was in New York Life, they all told me, yeah, just drop her, forget about her, have nothing further to do with it, just whatever. I mean, the idea was good, move on. But the point of dropping her, forget about her period is what I did. And next thing I knew was uh, I found out she had bought a life insurance policy 2.5 years later. And I'm like, what the? And she told me, okay, because, I started sending her newsletters, right? I then started purchasing newsletters from you guys, and I started sending newsletters out. And so I was kind of like, damn it, I knew I should have kept in touch with her earlier, and I'm like, and I listened to all these know-it-alls that told me just drop her, forget about her, period, never have anything further to do with her. If you want her, she'll call you back. And I remember from the earlier seminars, send them a newsletter. Don't have to worry about communicating elsewhere with them. And when they're ready, because they've seen the newsletter, it's a constant reminder they'll call you back. And she did call me back, and she told me she had her son that wanted to, even though it was term insurance for $700,000 for the home, right? She referred her son over to me, which I got to sell a lot of. And if I had not continued with the newsletters and stuff, I would not have. She would have gone to her next door neighbor who she bought the life insurance policy from. But because at least I maintain I mean, even though I stopped for 2.5 years, and she told me that's why she bought it from the other person because I disappeared. So even though she flaked out on me big time, she really upset me what she did. I started sending her newsletters. I got referrals, and she told me that she gave me another referral, which I gotta act upon. And then so I realized how important these new newsletters are. And just because they screwed you in the past does not necessarily mean that that's going to be their thinking forever. And that's the point that it showed that, yeah, at least, maintain a diplomatic opening where they were, because they can tell when you literally ditch them, period, and they'll never come back to you that way.
Oh yeah.
But if you maintain a pipeline, like that newsletter was a great idea, and I mean, that's the only thing. I didn't call her nothing. I just sent her newsletters, and then she called back one day, and we talked, and she told me and stuff, and she gave me the refer, and I got a sale. So, you know, it shows that these newsletter stuff, the idea of it works.
Yep.
And you don't have to just totally ditch and say, hey, what, screw you forever. I'll never have anything. See, my boss is like that. He's like, he screwed me, that's it, forever. You're off my list. He actually takes the fact finder, rips it, and throws it in the shredder, and that's it. And I'm like, huh?
I mean, he has a luxury though. I mean, he's inherited all this clients that we talked about before.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so let's get back to this. We're already past the hour mark. So let's go ahead and finish this up real quick. All right. So what can you offer prospects to arouse their curiosity and interest? And this is, running your ads allows you to do this because you can pique their curiosity in exchange for information. All right. We're not saying, free consultations do not work. Even in my business, I offer a free consultation for a free 15-minute consultation for everybody that would want to call me, talk about their business, do a review. Now, I get one or two of them probably probably one or two a week, but again, it's really doing nothing for them, right? Because they know if you offer the free consultation, you're trying to sell them something, you're gonna want to buy, right? So offer them something that would, give them information. So the newsletters, offering a free report, the Facebook ad with the problem-based, attachment of there is going to work better for you. All right. And again, and this is, I put this in the guide initially. I'm not a big fan of this, but always looking for new perspectives and actions you can take to acquire more leads. if you already have stuff that's working for you, right, and working well, don't try to change it. You know, even I love Tony to death, and Tony's probably the most guilty of this of all the agents I work with. You know, he'll start doing something, it works, and then he'll stop doing it. So he finds something, he'll find a different system, a different ad, a different something that he can do that much better. If you, I told Ryan and Ray this years ago, if you find something that works, don't deviate from the text. Don't change it. Okay. They're using the same invitation they've been using for 3.5 years now. Religiously, they have not changed it because it pulls in. I think this last group was 28 and 17 out of 4,000 piece mailing for 2 different classes. You know, so if you find something that works for you, and it's working well, when it's working well, generating, if it's getting more than 10 people to your workshop, if you're sending out a letter and you're getting, you know, the 2% response to it, keep doing it. Don't change it. That's working phenomenally well. If anything, increase the amount you're sending out. Do more of it. That makes sense? Move the camera to this side now. All right. Now, delivery message, you know, secret 5 is deliver message to the right people. And again, when you know who your right market is, that's who you want to focus on. You know, but make sure you want to. I wrote this book in 2000, 2005, somewhere there. You want to be on the internet today. There is no more, if you're not on the internet type stuff, is you need to have a presence on the internet. If not, you're missing out hugely today. All right. You want to make your information available to everybody. Right. So if they go to your website, they see your ad or landing page for a free report. They see the opportunity to set an appointment with you. They see that you have multiple events coming up for speaking events. That's going to build your credibility and the want to work with you even more. Okay. Because if you don't have, you know, if you just have a one-page website or just a Facebook business page, it's for them to check on to make sure you're real is fine. But if you want to make your services well known and brand your business, you need to have a website now. Okay. Must have. Now, if you're branding the business, we have time. It's not something to have day one, but the first 2 or 3 years, you want to start working on the idea of doing it. Okay.
Can you repeat what you just said? Your voice got muffled on
It's in the recording. I can't repeat it. You know, I say it and I forget it. It's gone.
You and me both.
You have the website. Is what it comes down to. I mean, if you don't have the website, you know, people can't check on you. I mean, we're in a digital age, right? Everybody's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Truth Social, all these different social sites, right? Anybody of purpose, you know, even my freaking mechanic has a website now. My hairdresser has a website. You know, it's everybody has, you know, it's not the everybody's doing it thing. That's not what I'm saying. But anybody who wants to be somebody has the website because it works on multiple levels. Okay. One, it makes sure people know you're real. Right. So if people look you up, they find information on you. They see you have a blog. They see you are writing articles. They see you have events coming up. They see you're doing, you know, community outreach. You have pictures on your website. You have all this stuff that you're involved, and it shows people you actually care about the area, not just some Joe Schmo who's just trying to push policies on those kind of websites. You know, because go ahead, Dave.
He just, I mean, he's like, I need more information about that. I need to, I need to know about your company and stuff like that. You know, he might have looked at me, and I mean, he knows from following me, I'm brand new.
Mm-hmm.
The company's brand new, but if you don't see a website up there, maybe that, I don't know. I mean, that could be. Yeah. He's one of those guys who wants to research everything, so I'm sure he looked.
Yeah, and it happens. You know, we're in a digital age where if we look at the people around us and everything that's happening in this country, can we trust anybody? How much distrust is out there today?
Too much.
Between, and again, some of it's political divide, some of it's racial divide. there's so much division in this country that, and there's so many people fake and trying to take advantage of the people that you gotta have something, that kind of shows that you're out there, you're real. That's why I like Facebook a lot, because even though it's a personal page, it shows who you are. It shows you have a life. It shows you're learning, you're marketing, you're trying to build a business. People can recognize that and take and like that. And the time that was another level from there.
Do you recommend the business page on Facebook or no?
I've kind of fallen away from it. It's a good stopgap, because it is free to set up and it's easy to set up. So it shows you have an online presence. So people can find you if they search for your name or your company name. It's valid in that way. And it's easy to content market from. And then I share my content from my page to my personal page too.
Okay.
So it is valuable, but getting the website up, has a lot more flexibility to it. So you can start driving people to your website from Facebook, from LinkedIn, where they can get more articles, more to see what you do and how you're helping families or helping businesses or seniors. You can direct more of the traffic that way. And you get more, and then you have the ability to use SEO and get your site ranked locally and do different things to drive more traffic from other areas on a passive approach, which again, we want to have multiple streams of things going on, right? At all times, 3-4 irons to the fire at all times. The website allows you to do a lot with one tool, because now you can run your posts, on Facebook and push them to your website, to a specific landing page that gives them direct instruction on how to enter the funnel and what you can do for them long term.
Do you feel like people are actually searching for financial advisors or people like that? I don't see that as much as I see somebody, I got a leaky roof. I need someone to, searching for somebody like that. So, what's local advisors in my area? I mean, I don't know.
I'll put it this way. All right. And I have a website up. I have my number in the yellow pages. I do a couple of different things, and I have in the Insurance Pro Shop has some basic stuff on local media, right?
Right.
I get calls for people wanting to buy car insurance every single day.
From what? Sorry.
Wanting to buy car insurance every single day. So people are out searching for insurance.
Okay, awesome. That's good to hear.
Okay, because people are out there looking at online quote engines, and that's what we have SEO for. To put, whether it be organic SEO, or we're getting people to look for financial advisors and insurance agents in the local area, or whether we're using pay-per-click advertisement and putting it on the lead capture areas of the internet, behavioral marketing, like Seth Green talked about a few weeks ago, different things like that. All right, Tony's calling me. I'm in trouble. But again, you want to have the information. You want to have information for people to get when they want to get it. Whether it be taking, so they get the ebook mailed to them directly down the mail book, directly down the ebook, whether they can text you and receive free information. We're getting information where they can go find stuff about you, about your business, what you're helping people do. And you want to have that information readily available to them. And then you can put resources on them to help everybody, which makes even more traffic. That's a whole other story. All right. And lastly, you want to become a celebrity. And I'm not saying you want to become a celebrity like Tom Cruise, Ryan Reynolds. For most of us, that's not going to happen. Maybe for Daryl, he looks good. The rest of us are screwed, especially me. So we're not going to be those acting celebrities, being on TV everywhere, but we can become a celebrity in our local area. So everybody knows you in your local area. You're going to become a big fish in a small pond. You're known as the expert. So how do you do that? You write letters to the newspaper, you put articles out there, you contribute, you do community events. I like writing articles. I take my newsletter articles I write for you guys, I change them up a little bit, I send them to the newspapers. I've tried the Wall Street Journal twice now. Still haven't been published there yet. I'm working on that still. But all you have to do for the Wall Street Journal to get published, if you're a good writer or even a half decent writer, is take a topic they wrote about and do a rebuttal article to it. And you get published a lot of the times. Now you're published off the Wall Street Journal. How much credibility does that give you really quickly? That's huge. You know, how do you get published in Forbes magazine? How do you get published in these different areas? You got to put the message out there that you want to be published. That's the first thing. You know, in a website, okay, and another thing on the website is it becomes your media kit. You know, so now people, you have your bios on there, you have, you know, information where if someone wants to contact you for a interview, they knew who to contact. They're looking for financial advisors in the local area. They want to talk about the IRA Act. Sure, I'll talk to them. I mean, I get called probably once a month for different publications want to interview me, whether it be for a industry institution, or I've had some for a lot of stuff in Atlanta lately about small business owners, entrepreneurs, and stuff like that. But there's things, if you put the message out there, you're willing to talk, you know, because a lot of these people don't know who they want to talk to or who to interview. Write this website down, subscribe to it. It's free. And I remember told him this tip. There is a website called Haro, HARO.com. Help a reporter out is what the name of the website is. And they email me twice a day. Okay. So when you're on your inbox, create a folder for them, just let them go in there and just check them every once in a while. But if you want to write articles and get published in bigger publications, give more interviews, help a writer out allows you to tell the reporters, hey, I'm willing to talk and communicate. And it's a great way to get your message out there even further. That's on a nationwide scale a lot of times. All right. All right, we talk about center of influence. You know, one of the biggest things with center of influence marketing is getting our friends and family, close clients, everybody we know to talk about us in a positive light. You know, spread the word that we're looking for new clients and we're looking for new people to help, and get them to be very vocal advocates for you. And again, sometimes it's tougher to get family to talk about you, especially if you don't like your family, or family doesn't like you, one of the two. But if you have close clients, help them be your vocal advocate, empower them to do that. You know, ask for their help. And again, the more word of mouth you get, the more referrals you get, and the better the referral quality is. All right. And lastly, and I don't like this word, Jessica wrote it, work hard at being ubiquitous, being present. There's nothing worse than being somewhat visible or slightly visible. The truth is that low visibility is no visibility. So if you're just kind of trying to put your name out there, you're wasting your time. It's all or nothing. Either you go for it or you don't go for it. You know, as I tell all my kids, don't half-ass anything. You know, so if you want to be out there, make sure you put the effort out to be out there. Now, you know, if we're just getting started, this is not even on the table for a lot of us, because we're not even close to being at this level. But again, down the road, I mean, becoming locally well-known in your area, yeah, I mean, definitely go, you know, sponsor different events, you know, help people run a 5K and sponsor it, you know, do different things to get your name out there. You know, even if it's just, you know, like I tell you about the bowling alley, the sweepers, you know, the little pin guides, used to be able to put ads on them. You know, if I'm going to consult my phone number, you know, text me for information type crap. There's all kinds of things you can do to get your message out there. But be present, you know, and be a part of the community. The more you get your name out there and you involve in these community events. Now, we talked about this earlier about talking to people, right? That's one of the most important functions of our job. So if we're out there helping the community do different things, being a volunteer at these different events, are we seeing lots of people? If you're shaking your head, yes.
Yes.
You know, so that's a way for us to be involved in the community, which we should want to be involved in anyways, but it gives us a chance to talk to people. Because we're out there volunteering. You know, I used to volunteer for the PTA, the Methodist Church, you know, different things I volunteered at. And people would always ask me, what exactly do you do? Especially because I'm the guy that would take off, you know, during a 9 to 5 day and I'm out there at noontime doing something for the community, they know I'm flexible, so they know something. I'm doing something right. I'm not have to work all day. It lends to credibility. So, take time, once a week, go do something for the community. You get in front of more people that way. More people, more communications, more conversations to be had, the more appointments you make. And that's all I have for today, guys. And we are hour and a half already. But any questions? We covered a lot of material today, but any more questions?
No, Jeremy, I just wanted to add to what you said, that I agree with you 100% as far as becoming celebrity, being known in your community. I think that's important. I've struggled this business for the past 10 years and been in it for 12. And the last 2 years, I started to put a lot more content on social media, and it's really about becoming the expert. And it's not about faking it so you make it, but the more we continue on with this, these webinars, trainings, coaching, you just get better at it. And like what Joseph was saying, I know sometimes we go through these little, bumps in the road, and then we get, derailed and stuff from what we're trying to achieve as far as our goals. But it's like anything else, like in sports, right? You're not gonna win them all. When you do lose the games against those good teams, then what did you learn from it, and what can you get from it to be better? So I think that's what it is. I think through the 10 years being in this business, or 12 years, I'm going to say, just constantly working through it.
Yep.
It's a challenge. It doesn't matter if you've been in the business, if you're new or you've been in it for 20 plus years. Marketing is probably the biggest thing we have to deal with in this business, and we have to focus on.
It's
And when people look at you as that person of interest and the expert, they're going to start coming in.
Yeah.
It'll come in.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know.
Good stuff, Jeremy.
Thank you. So we have our next classes next week. It's on we're gonna have some fun doing some appointment setting role play. I also have 2 guest speakers next week that you guys haven't seen in a while. 2 of my top producer guys that want to come in and share some information with you on what's working for them and do a little role playing with you guys. So I brought some hired guns in. So Joe, be nervous. It'll be fun. And you guys know these 2, and I talk about them all the time. So you probably figured out who it is. But spread the word if you guys can. If you guys see people on social media that would benefit from doing the role play, invite them. Let's get the message out there of how we're helping people. All right. And other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Joe, I'll be calling you. Give me about 10 minutes to call you back, and I'll get with you on the website. And then Dave, I'll get with you later this evening on it. All right. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful week. Stay safe, and we'll see you
guys.
next week.
Good seeing you all again. Have a great week.
Good seeing all you. Bye.